At Wellstar, we believe in more. More doctors who are highly experienced and highly rated by people like you. More teams of caregivers who are world-renowned and designed around your unique needs. And more expert care and unwavering compassion across many specialties. Because we believe in the power of expertise and empathy. Wellstar, it's more than healthcare. It's people care.
This is a Bramble Jam podcast.
We're back with another episode of Decom Descendants. I'm Bran. I'm here with Erin.
Yes.
And Dan.
Hi.
And we're back with a little Zenon today, everybody. Zenon. A beloved classic in the Disney Channel original movie universe.
Of course.
Excited to dive into this
I feel
one.
like they're all bangers out of the gate. That's what I keep hearing anyway.
They are bangers.
They are bangers right out of the gate. Speaking of bangers, guys, I got to talk about some of these reviews that we've been getting.
There are some bangers.
There are some bangers. There are also one person with some constructive criticism.
And
I do appreciate that. L. Byrne said, I adored DCOM movies growing up, and it's so fun to listen to Bran, Erin, and Dan talk about them.
Oh.
Shout out to the channel lineups. Ours was channel 56. The people love
56.
The people love it. The people love it. Looking forward to hearing Dan fall in love with DCOMs. Love the pod from Nashville, where Disney Channel was on 25. Thank you to Cathers for that one.
24.
You know, it is close. It's close, but it's no cigar. I think what we're trying to get across here is that the people are enjoying the podcast. And if you are listening and you haven't left a review on the Apple Podcast, we'd like that. We would like it a lot. We'd like it a lot.
Subscribe, all that fun stuff.
Absolutely, Dan. Absolutely.
That's right.
Erin?
Yeah.
This is an exciting day because we get to go to outer space. We get to, Zetus Lapidus and all that good stuff. But I don't want to do any of that without a little snack on my side. So let's head right into
Snack
the
on your
delicious.
side?
Yeah, a little snack on my side.
Yeah.
Heading into the delicious bar, the DCOM bar.
Could it possibly be better than the Oreo we had last week? I don't think so. But I'm willing to try.
Well, there's no treat in-house.
Great.
'Cause-
Okay. Zetus Lapidus.
I don't think
right.
you're using it right.
I know. I think he did.
Okay.
Major.
Letdown
Yeah.
major.
Lunarius.
Sometimes, listen, as we've established, this was a rough morning. Doing the best I can.
But
But
in
you have
theory,
something for us
Yes, I
to
do
make
have.
and drink later.
Yes.
Great.
Yep. So this afternoon, when it's appropriate,
That's right. We would never 10 in the morning.
I went over to a wonderful little website called the flavorblender.com.
The flavor blender.
And we
Cool.
have two drink options for you depending on whether you like alcohol in your beverages or you don't. We have a color-changing lemonade,
Ooh.
which is just a lemonade.
Doesn't it change colors?
Yeah, but I mean, there's nothing like in it.
what do you mean it changes colors? Erin?
So it's not just
Oh,
lemonade.
I see.
It's multiple.
I see.
There will be pictures.
It's ombre.
yes.
Ombre?
It's ombre.
Major. It's ombre major.
Ombre major.
It's ombre
Yeah.
major.
You say so.
So basically, it's like a gradient lemonade. It changes color.
Gradient.
From
Gradient.
purple
It's a gradient
to pink.
ombre.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's all gradient ombre live.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
And then if you would like to have a little bit more fun with your DCOM, we have a color-changing cocktail. So same thing, it changes colors as the alcohol mixes, and then you can enjoy a delicious beverage.
And
What
you
is-
drink one of those every time Zenon says Zetus Lapidus.
Yes.
What's in the
And
cocktail?
you'll be
though?
dead.
And how do you make it change colors? Can you give me any more information?
Nope.
No.
It'll be on the show notes, though, and that's
It
what's
is.
important.
I mean, it's one of those things where you are going to have to follow the directions that I
see.
post because the order in which you add the different liquids is going to either.
It's a fun
Yeah.
space themed cocktail.
I mean, the colors remind me of space, and that is why
Yeah.
we chose it.
Yeah, of course. That's why we collectively, we had a lot of options. We talked about it for a while.
Yeah, what you didn't see off air was I made a bunch of beverages.
There's so many beverages over there. Look at all of them.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that's why we can't have another sip.
No, and this is what the panel chose, the panel of us.
I hear you.
Listen, this is all I'm going to say. You outdid yourself this week. You can follow us on the socials for more of that information, correct? Which is at
Decom Descendants.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you're looking for some snacks, I recommend you take a page out of Zenon's book and just go to your favorite restaurant and order all the appetizers.
All the appetizers.
That's exactly right. Let's do this.
She had a table full of apps, and it looked great.
We're going to break this movie down on the other side of the break here on Decom Descendants. Welcome back. Decom heads, Descendants.
Decom heads.
I don't know. Trying something new.
We're just starting to get, because we record these a little bit ahead of time, some of the response from the Brink episodes, and there was definitely some people that were very angry with me about the Brink.
Why would they be angry with you?
I don't know. I think they thought we were watching something we weren't, and I do want to say this. I still think Halloween Town is a better movie, and I don't think the movie's good. I'm wrestling with moving it ahead of Under Wraps, though. I'm wrestling with moving it ahead of Under Wraps because even though I like the hijinks of Under Wraps, I do think the quality of the film as a whole probably better in Brink. So when we get to, we're not there yet. We're not at making the list yet, but I want to let you know.
So just to be clear, we do have the ability to move our list around. It's not locked. This isn't.
No, every week you get to make a new top 10, but then once we finish, we have to have a definitive.
Right.
So you can move it around until you can't.
But so you, and it's though.
I mean, I understand what you meant, but that you can until you can't.
It's flexible until it's locked.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's exactly right.
Move it around until you can't.
It's flexible until it's not. Let's see where Zenon ends up. Zenon. It's a great outfit for those of you that are watching on the YouTubes. I expected it to
from figure skater.
I thought it was going to be a thing, and it wasn't. And now it's just weird that I just touched your arm. So
wow, HR much?
Just over there rubbing her arm, expecting something to happen. Nothing happened.
Didn't ask any permission or anything.
And I can't get in trouble for this.
You can.
If you wear one of those things, it's going to change.
It does look like it should.
Yes.
But you know what? If Erin were to wear one of those, should you go up and do that to her arm? No.
Erin?
The answer is a hard no.
You're with me on this one, right, Erin?
I mean, I fully understood what you thought was going to happen when it happened, and I'm really sad that my jacket didn't do that. Him. I mean, I guess, like, in this situation, it wasn't that weird, but if you were to walk up to me on the street...
No, you don't do that as a stranger.
Yeah.
You don't do that as a stranger. All I'm saying is, around friends...
BFs.
Around BFs. Major. If you're going to wear one of those things...
Yeah.
It shouldn't come as a surprise.
We're here.
When someone touches you, rubs your arm like a genie lamp.
She's asking for it, is what you're saying.
No, not what I'm saying. I'm saying around
when
friends.
She wears
one
of those sequin things. What you're
not what I'm saying.
Is she is asking for you to touch her arm.
Yes, it's time to calm chat it up so we break down the movie.
Shouldn't have worn such a slutty jacket.
That's not what I said. It's not what I said.
I thought this was a safe place.
January 23rd, 1999. So honestly, we're kind of lining up a little bit there. I had just celebrated my 7th birthday.
Wow.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you. It is the year 2049. And you might be wondering to yourself, in my wildest of dreams, what does the future look like?
VW Beatles.
Luckily, we have Zenon. Zenon and her family are living in space on a ship. She is
a space station, if
you would. Her brother Boron, her sister Neon.
She is her very own alarm clock. She has a video version of herself that is in theory supposed to wake her up. Yeah, listen, we not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
She does live on that space station, and she's late for breakfast. She's getting into hijinks immediately. She starts like climbing through the ceiling. She starts riding carts around like they're scooters for Team X-Blats. It's a lot of fun up in space. And I gotta be honest, when I was watching this as a kid, I look at this and I go, yeah.
Yep, outer space.
This is as clear as crystal.
Also, in 1999, the idea that you had the video alarm clock, that you can FaceTime people or text people or videograph, as they say in the movie, all of that is like far enough removed for you to be like, whoa, the wave of the future. I mean,
yeah, the fact that you could record a little message to yourself the night before.
CDs are this big. The drives are this big. Come on.
The future.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
50 years will be there.
And she finds out in the middle of class that Microbe is coming to space.
Do you mean
Microbes
the
are
number
already
one
in-
pop
okay.
star band in the world?
I do mean that. And this is big because this is major. Because
It is major.
this is news major.
Is this before Protozoa broke up with the band? Is this before then?
Yes, it's before that.
Wow.
Because here's
What a
the
gift.
thing. No group, no
2053, I
band
believe. Yes.
has come to space
Ever.
to play a set.
First space rock concert, y'all.
That's exactly right. First space rock concert. And so for them to come, it's huge. But to make this even more bigger major,
Stellar major.
Lunarium.
Hilarious.
we find out that
I appreciate your effort.
Lunarium.
what is it?
I went to the Lunarium.
Protozoa?
Protozoa
That's right.
is gonna have a contest winner come on stage and dance.
Now, could the whole movie be about this?
No.
Yes. Has a decom been about less? Yeah, it has. Skating. But they decide they're going to throw in like a death plot here. But go ahead, Bram.
So yeah, there
It's a good
is.
job controlling your emotions too.
Thank you so much. People are not giving me enough credit these days for that. So there is a bit of a concern about the space station. There's talk of, hey, are we done with it?
It needs some repairs.
It needs some repairs. So
It's been 8 years, and yeah.
So the head honcho, whose name is
Wyndham.
Wyndham.
Captain Wyndham. John Wyndham.
I don't think he's a captain.
John J. Wyndham.
I think
Wyndham
he's just
style.
CEO Wyndham.
Opa Wyndham style. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Zenon. I didn't like it after I did it. So
That's happening a lot today.
Speed us. Whoop.
So he comes up there with his henchman, whose name is
Craig.
Lutz.
Lutz. And
Was very close.
immediately,
Well, see, Zenon helps you out throughout the movie because she gives everyone catching nicknames.
Yeah.
So Lutz the Klutz.
Good. It's good for us.
immediately suspicious. Both of them are immediately suspicious. And Zenon
Well, you
notices.
should be suspicious of grown men who wink at
Yes,
girls.
he does wink.
Yeah.
And then she sees Lutz kind of poking around in the middle of the night and just like up to no good. So she is aware that something is going on. What she's also aware of is the fact that a solar flare is about to hit.
And the thing about Zenon that I think has been undersold so far is she doesn't really ask permission as much as she asks forgiveness.
That's exactly right.
She's
Dan.
got an independent spirit. She's a
She's
go-getter.
Miss Independent.
Just letting you know.
And
That's
so
Zenon.
when the opportunity to tether self and go outside of the ship to get a better view of the solar flare presents itself, it's too good of an opportunity for Zenon to pass up. And so she does it, and then obviously her dad catches her. And this is the final straw. This is the final straw. Zenon, you've
had enough.
You've been getting into some hijinks. We've given you warnings.
We're grounding
You've been
you.
stressing your mom out.
Yep.
We're grounding you. And so that doesn't mean that she can't leave her room. That means that they are grounding her to the earth.
That's right. Gravity.
You don't get it, Zenon.
Gonna go live.
Grounding you.
gonna go live with Aunt Becky, Aunt Judy, and this is immediately quite the transition for her.
Yeah.
She's having a tough time with gravity. She's having a tough time with swimming. Yep. She's having a tough time just becoming friends, being nice. There's another girl who's kind of mean, but there is a cute boy named Greg. Cute boy Greg.
Yeah, and while life on the space station has traveled into 2049, life on Earth is still
very much 1999.
Yeah, fashion has not changed.
No.
The lingo has barely changed.
It's definitely harder to remember that we're in the future when they're on Earth.
Yeah.
Even though like they say things like this is a solar powered car and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's tough. I constantly forgot.
Was the point of that just to showcase like how much into the future the space station was?
Oh,
the budget.
I don't know.
Like nothing changed on Earth, and I feel like they should have.
The budget for Planet Earth.
Why was the fashion different? Why was the fashion on the space station
different? The budget for Planet Earth to look like 2049 was $0. They tacked a couple signs up and they just spent all their money elsewhere on the Microsoft Paint or wherever they spend it. Did we cover that she does get chosen to dance with Protozoa?
Oh, yes, she does.
Stage?
Yes,
okay.
I'm sorry. I did not say it. She does win.
She does win.
She creates a model doll.
Yes.
She creates a model doll of Protozoa, so I don't know how you
can't beat that. Creepy model
especially
doll.
when you're in the running with five other people
who care. That's right.
Something you can do. Yeah. So there is a cute boy Greg. He's
a starer.
He is a starer. They hang out together. They spend a magical day horseback riding, hanging out by the water.
Yeah.
And she begins to open up to him about her concerns with Wyndham
and Shady
Lux and the space station. And so, luckily for Greg, hacking into the Wyndham system.
Easy peasy.
Oh,
no problem.
No sweat, he says.
It's sweat minor.
Sweat minor. That's exactly right.
Less than sweat.
That's exactly right. And so they're able to hack in. They're able to kind of see that things are not going well back at the space station. They're beginning to have some power outages. Things are just not going well. And so she still has this earring that is clearly something that Lutz...
It's a disc. But they made it into an earring, and Raven Simone, who has been undermentioned so far, gives it to Zenon
as a goodbye present.
That's right. Exactly. And so she's just wearing it as high fashion.
Right. But Lutz wants it back.
Just
of course.
The one earring, it's a look.
It's a move.
Yes. And so they do a thing.
Brand was a big one hoop earring guy. Yeah.
Listen, this is you are who you are, and I was what I was.
McNasty.
Big nasty. That's exactly right.
The one hoop earring.
That's exactly right. And so Lutz
tips. Yeah, of course.
Lutz does come over, and they make
their photos.
Oh man,
guys, come on!
Give anything.
I'm just trying to keep the past in the past.
How much money to shave your beard, shave your head very close, frost the tips, one earring, hoop?
I've actually thought about doing frosted tips, and that's not a joke.
Yeah. But you gotta cut it down a little bit.
I don't think so. Yeah. I think I'm gonna do it right now with what it is.
On air?
No, but just
come on in.
Janice.
Janice. Janice?
No.
You been call it Janice. He's been calling you Janice.
She goes by Janice. She goes by Janice.
No, Janice is not.
He shows up.
Janice just told me to tell you to stop touching Erin's arm.
Is Janice related to Joanne?
All right, guys. Come on. You're better than that. The listeners of the Decom Descendants don't even get that joke, Erin.
Oh, man.
That's fine.
The short version is Brains are racist.
The long version is I'm a racist.
That joke is just for Dan and I.
Oh, man. Worth it.
I'm not.
Sorry,
guys,
Dan and me.
That's right.
I'm doing a lot of work, you know?
Right.
And so...
I apologize for my grammar.
So...
Zetus Lapidus.
Dadgummit, guys. Lutz comes and says, hey, I want the earring. Let's make a deal. She says, well, I need to get back.
At what point do we get muted?
Soon. I need to get back to the space station.
We can take the board.
I've got to dance. I've got to dance on the stage. So...
You can dance if you want to.
You can have this back if you put me on a ship, basically.
That's right. It's a tradesy. They make him write it down.
Greg says, wait 1 second. Write it down, Lutz.
Greg says, try to fool me once.
That's right.
This is not my
I know
first
you think
blackmail.
I've been staring this whole movie, but I've been thinking too.
Yes, exactly right. These aren't just empty
Yeah,
stares.
he's been blackmailed before, so he's like, got
That's right.
right down.
Processing through. What type of stuff has Greg gone through?
At 13 years old, he's like, you better get that in writing.
Get that right.
If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times.
Try to sell me the same horse.
Somebody
That's
says
exactly
that-
right.
Somebody tells you that you're allowed to stare at them, you get it in writing.
Greg sounds like a guy
They
who
can change their mind.
Greg sounds like a guy who may know Treat Williams because he's exactly right with the horse.
He does, in fact, know Treat Williams.
Yes. Lutz is like dope. Got the disc. The disc is needed.
Are you asking?
Yes.
It's putting the virus into the space
Yeah,
station.
Yes.
hacker friend switched the virus to be basically an antivirus there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
an
and-
antidote.
Yeah, and he has
Penicillin.
These kids are
They're
amazing.
just
Amazing.
geniuses.
Yes.
And if she can insert that disc back into the computer system on the space station, it will be
Save the day.
fixed.
But she also gives Lutz the wrong disc. She does the old switcheroo. Yes.
She's like, look, I have holographic nail polish, and I made my own discs. Got them.
Bingo
Got 'em.
bongo. And so she now has to get on a ship and head back up to space. So on the day that Microbe is about to head off to the space station, she finds Pyrotechnics, what's his name?
Protozoa.
Protozone, and it's like, hey, bro.
I just do love that. I feel like going to space is just not like they make it a
It's
big
just
deal, but it's also not a big deal
Yeah.
because
The
they
fact
ran
that-
in the same day. They had 2 shuttles go to
Yeah.
space. Like if you were
You just-
doing
I'll
a
just catch the
supply
afternoon
run,
one. That's all.
if you were
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
a supply run,
Yeah.
would you not just try to coincide that with Protozoa?
Yeah. I feel like also just the idea
Has
that
NASA improved
this-
that much that it's not that big a deal to just boop, boop.
This lead singer of this like
Protozoa?
internationally, otherworldly, universally famous band sees a 13-year-old fan of his who's crazy and is like, yeah, you can just ride with us. It's all good, bro. Come
No
on.
problem. No
Let's go.
problem.
We'll catch the afternoon shuttle to space. Right.
Yeah.
We
So-
missed the morning one. We'll just catch the afternoon one.
Wyndham and Lutz are trying to find her, and they find out that she's on the ship. Also
Jude
trying to
tries to
find her
stop
is
them.
Aunt Judy, and so they all get on the ship last
Yes.
second.
That's right.
They fly off. They're having a good time on the ship playing cards and
Poker.
whatnot. And they get to the space station, and it is all hands on deck. We have to stop this ship from exploding. But listen,
We have 15 minutes until explosion.
this is an uphill battle. Because we're talking about Wyndham here, and people still trust Wyndham.
People still
Namely,
trust
the
him.
guy kind of in charge of the ship. He's like,
Yeah, they trust him over the 13-year-old girl who causes hijinks.
and I can't
It's unbelievable.
imagine.
And that's weird.
It's super weird.
Because if I learned anything in my childhood about kids who cause hijinks, is they're always right.
They know.
Well,
They're just trying to help.
especially when the adult is winking at the kid with hijinks.
Yeah.
Like that
That should be your first.
should have been like, hey, I understand your hesitancy, but he winked at me, and that
Well, see,
should.
the thing is, nobody saw him wink at her except her. And
Right,
so,
but that's what I'm
again-
saying. You
winking
should
in
bring that
private.
up.
But then again, who are you trusting, the 13-year-old with hijinks or the grown adult?
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate that, but I think you're right. I think you're right.
Xenon's got to get some people to believe her.
Yeah, you got to believe
So she
women
gets a few
and
people,
believe kids.
obviously. Raven,
Raven.
her parents, I think.
Her redheaded friend.
Yes. And so
The
time
two
is
dudes
running
that don't have
out.
names.
Time is running out. They get the disc in the thing, but you need a secret passcode. We all know it. We all love it. And go ahead, Dan.
This is where the movie, and shockingly it took this long, kind of falls apart when Lutz looks at Wyndham and goes, you forgot one thing. We didn't realize we'd be on board the ship. So they look at each other and realize if they go through with their dastardly plan to kill a superstar, it will kill them as well. And they don't realize that till like 3 minutes left in the movie.
It's super weird that they even get, like, when they're trying to get that disc back from Zenon, as soon as she gets on the shuttle, like, they don't
Just
know.
let her go.
They don't know that she has, like,
No.
the antidote to the virus.
It
like,
is. It is a.
Just
it's
let her go
super
die.
clunky. I think even a 7 or 8 year old would be like.
no, didn't question it at all.
You think I would have at 8 though?
You're not a human child.
Luckily, she figures it out, and she saves the day. They do the song. I did forget to mention that Zenon and Greg do kiss.
They do.
Kind of.
Kind of a
she
little.
kisses him.
There's
Yes.
there's a zap kiss, and then an almost kiss, and then
she does
a
kiss
little
him.
kiss on
Yeah, that's
the
right.
way out of town.
And then she
can't wait to
gives
see
up her
Greg and
dance.
Zenon too.
This
It's
is
gonna be
big
great.
stuff here. You're just skating over.
No, we
she
haven't
gives up
gone
her
there yet.
dance with probiotic to Raven Simone.
I know.
Who gets to go on stage and dance instead.
I was getting there.
Okay. Good.
Yes, the microbe does perform Supernova Girl. Boom, zoom, zoom, zoom.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Make my heart
Make
go
them
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, of course. We all know the lyrics.
Supernova.
Does get my prototype to shout out Greg, and Greg is watching on video. Is just like,
It's okay. I'm just going to keep staring.
and then Raven, you can go on stage and dance.
That's right.
And everybody loves Zenon.
Everybody loves Zenon.
That's exactly right.
Freeze frame on Zenon's face. Pan out to the animated ship. Done and done.
Done and done. Let's take one more quick break, and then we'll come back with overtime and making the list here on Decom Descendants. Yeah, welcome back, everybody.
Yeah.
We're back on Decom Descendants. We're talking about Zenon, and it is time for overtime, where we're talking about how this movie aged over time, whether or not we saw it back in the 90s or we watched it for the first time today. I think there are going to be some obvious things that don't hold up watching this, but
Did you see this when it came out in 99?
I have.
Yes.
I've seen it once. I don't think I watched it when it first came out, but I probably watched it in the early 2000s.
Gotcha.
Upon replays and whatnot. But I'll start with you, Erin. I think this movie means the most to you, or has meant the most to you over the years. And so now watching it through the lens of this podcast, knowing what we have seen thus far, how does this movie hold up to you?
Well, there's a lot in this movie that I think still holds up, and a lot upon today's viewing doesn't hold up. I did watch this movie when it first came out in 1999. I have seen it many times since. Don't tell Dan, I do own this movie pre-Disney.
I won't tell him.
Copy?
No, I have a digital.
Okay.
I used to show it. Like I have a handful of DComs in my Amazon account from
I'm
when
pretty sure we own the digital copy of this as well.
from when I taught elementary school
Gotcha.
on a Friday afternoon. Put on a
I was about
little
to say.
DCom. Yeah.
Just classic curriculum, Zenon curriculum. Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
If you're not showing your kids Greg staring at that girl, what are you even doing as a
What are you
teacher?
educating
It's just,
Yeah. I mean, I
the
don't know if
lessons.
I ever showed them Zenon. I do remember watching like Smart House, Luck of the Irish, Motocrossed. I remember watching all those with them.
Classics. Yeah.
Movies that Dan knows well, dear to his heart.
If you threw in a one there that wasn't a decom, I wouldn't have known.
Frankie and the Bogos.
Motocross, Frankie the Bogos, Luck of the Irish. You know the classics.
Yeah. Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off, whatever.
That is one.
I know.
80s million. That would have been
Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off.
What?
It's a baseball player that.
I'm sorry.
It's a
Go ahead.
baseball. It's a little league baseball player that wants to be a chef.
Duh.
So
It's like High School Musical without the singing and dancing.
Wow.
is it a superior movie?
So high
We'll
school-
find out.
Yeah, he's a sports guy who wants to cook.
Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off.
I love that movie.
Got it. Great.
It's not a bad movie.
So anyway,
The point I'm trying to make
Makes a secret
is
sauce.
I love Zenon. When I was 9 watching this, I was super excited for the future to be living in space and wearing those uniforms and having really cool lingo like Zetus Lapidus and
Cetus Lapidus.
and just putting major and minor after everything to emphasize.
Alpha.
more or less.
Yeah, I just thought it was going to be great. As a child, I did really love Gregory Smith. Had a big crush on him
What?
from Everwood.
First
As
I've heard
a
of it.
child.
When I watched this in 1999, I didn't realize that it was Gregory Smith. Watching it after Everwood, I was like, oh, hey, there's Greg.
Greg.
But watching it today, he should stare a little less.
Yeah,
A
stir
lot less.
Like,
Stare a little less major.
it was uncomfortable every time she looks up. And it's not even just like he does like it's a,
No, he's just
like
there.
he is just
Lot of
He's
straight
just like this.
staring. And
The worst one is in swim class, right?
swim
like the
was
swim
bad.
class is a tough one.
Yeah, you shouldn't you're literally on one of those pedestal things about to
Yeah.
jump in the water. Do not be
she
staring.
is there in her swim uniform, and
Can't do
he
that, bud.
is not even pretending to not look. Like he is just staring at her.
Greg, bud.
And it was just a lot of staring at a 13-year-old girl. And I know that Greg was 13 at the time. It's still a lot. And I didn't like it. And the fact that, as Bram pointed out while watching, takethetape.com, adults wrote this.
Adults wrote it.
And that, watching it as an adult, that...
Do you think they were directed to be like, all right, cut. Greg, if you could just give more staring.
Stare, just to stare.
Just like really intently.
Really wanted to come across for the...
Yeah, it was like he did the first take and they're like, we're not really picking up on the fact that you like her. Could you try harder?
I could stare.
I could try staring. I got a good stare.
So that whole little like crush romance situation didn't sit right with me in the year 2024. But everything else, I still really enjoy this movie. Big fan of Zenon living on the space station. Yeah.
Come on.
This is a movie I definitely have seen once. It wasn't heavily in my rotation. My wife liked it a lot more than I did when she was a kid. Watching it now, a few takeaways. One, Kristen Storm is amazing in this movie. I for my money, I think she's given the best performance out of all of the DCOMs so far. I thought she was so good.
She's really invested.
Really invested. Totally bought in that she is this high school girl or middle whatever on this ship in the future, and it all just like it. She really went for it, committed, and it was just great. I thought that the set design of the ship itself was great. Once you get outside the ship, it gets a little wonky, but also that's time, you know. I don't know if in 1999 it would have been as egregious as it is now, but this is overtime, and overtime, those graphics did not hold up. But I liked the movie. I thought the movie was charming enough. I do think it took a long time for them to get to the, hey, we're kicking you off the ship, and then the whole... vehicle to get her back up to the ship, not literally the ship itself, but the way in which it's like, hey, I have to get up there and I got this thing, and then all of that as
I feel like we
mentioned,
almost spent as much time getting her to Earth as in like.
If you combine the time on the spaceship from beginning and end of this movie, the time on Earth is maybe 50-50.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
I mean, I guess when I've watched it, I know where it's going, so it doesn't seem as long to me. But
and I also just like
watching it with you, like I was like, we are still on the space station,
and I'm just so used to one other thing. By and large, really enjoy this movie. I am so used to with like kids movies now and watching them with my kids, seeing a character that is like a bully or mean or whatever, having some sort of redemptive element at the end of the movie.
A redemption.
Like typically there's something where at the end of the movie the kid learns a lesson or something. There's a bully in this movie that is just mean, and then Greg is really mean to her, and then that's the end of it.
Yep.
And we just get nothing. And so some of those things that like in 1999 we're just like, yeah, bullies have what they have coming to them. It's like
you should be bullies back to them.
You just like you just don't.
Maybe she learns a lesson in the sequel.
Okay, interesting.
Boy.
I'm just saying, you know.
I don't know. I don't remember anything about the sequel, but I do remember that Margie's in the sequel.
You don't see that situation.
I could tell you the plot of Z3. Could not tell you a thing about Z2.
Wow, interesting.
The sequel just skipped right over it. Skip it, go straight to the 3.
Yeah.
The
I don't. I remember that Margie's in it. I think Protozoa comes back for a brief bit, or he's at least mentioned, and that's
Yeah. Dan, what'd you think?
Yeah, so this movie's not for me, obviously.
Cetus Lapidus.
I think that I don't disagree with on the ship for 1999. They do a lot to make you believe it's the future, and then as soon as you get outside of the bay doors of the ship, it collapses in a hurry, especially when you get to Earth and it's literally nothing has changed. And that's unfortunate. There are some things that definitely hold up about this movie. One, they've already said it. Kristen Storms, she's unbelievable. She is, the script is so cheesy and tough. She's amazing. So much charisma. Just a dynamo actor. She has done the best job of anybody so far in any of these movies. And the character of Zenon is in 1999, to have a strong, independent female character who doesn't need people to do things for her. Some people do help her along the way, but everything they do, she can do too. And she's the leader of that. She's getting into good trouble. She has some great lines, even down to the cute boy stuff. She's never so enamored with the cute boy.
No one's walking away from Zenon being like, she really needed Greg.
Yes. Or even when she's just like, yeah, you can kiss me if you want. She's never just like, Like she has this mission. Her parents respect the fact that she is outside of the box. If I had a daughter, I can't believe there's a 1999 kids show I would want them to really watch and enjoy. But this movie does that, sticks that landing very, very well. And I think that was the big shock to me, is it was so cheesy. The dialogue is cringeworthy sometimes, but she is great. And just the arc of her character was so refreshing. I didn't see it coming. And so all that really positive. The filmmaking quality of this definitely suffers as we look at it a quarter century later. So there's that. Yeah.
It's time for making the list, and I think this is gonna be hard.
Yeah,
but I'll start with you, Erin. Where is this landing on your list?
We now have a top 5.
Yeah,
so
we
there's
now have
that.
a top 5.
Mm-hmm. This is one. I do love that we can think about it some more and change it up until we can't.
Those are the rules.
You get it.
Which is very clear.
You're speaking
and
completely lucidly now. Yes.
But I think, we'll see. But after this viewing, I think I still have Halloween Town number 1, Zenon number 2, Brink number 3.
Brink 3.
Wow.
Under wraps
4,
You
Lucky Dog 5.
Yeah.
Of course.
Dan, where are you landing?
I feel like we can stop mentioning that You Lucky Dog is number 5.
I do think that Halloween Town is 1, and I think Zenon is next. I think those two movies are the best so far that we've watched. I think there's a clear separation between those and the rest. 5 is You Lucky Dog.
For sure.
This
Forever.
week, I have moved Brink back ahead of Under Wraps.
Wow.
We have the same list.
So we have the same list now. This week, the same list. Next week, the board. Brian not in charge ever again.
Why?
Well, you were just trying to stifle us in our creativity and our improv earlier.
Yeah.
But, aside from that, no reason.
Yeah.
And you're just touching people's jackets.
Contrary to some reviews that we got on a different podcast, we are funny.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I have Under Wraps at 5. I have You Lucky Dog at 4.
That's a sin. That's like a legitimate biblical sin.
Kirk Cameron begs to differ.
Every week he says it, and every week I'm
I always forget.
Guys, you know I stand with Kirk Cameron and everything he stands for. You guys know that about me. It is.
Well, the fact that you opened this episode with touching my
Hence
arm.
the sexual harassment.
I don't think he's ever been accused of that. I don't think we need to defame the name.
We want to clear that up right now.
He's certainly never been convicted.
There's a lot we can say about Kirk Cameron. I don't think we can accuse him of that. Please don't sue us.
I never accused him of anything. I just said hence the sexual harassment is all I said.
Interesting. 3, I have Zenon. 2, Halloween Town brings it 1.
You put Brink
Back to Brink at 1.
I sat with it. Hey, listen, I talked last week about how
you evolved as a human being and you understand how things hold up.
I
and
talked
I understand.
the fact that You Lucky Dog is not last. Fine,
that's
Brink is
all
number 1.
That's all I needed.
I talked about last week how I'm trying to, the best I can, handle and weigh the enjoyment versus the quality. And I talked about how Halloween Town, the quality is better, but the enjoyment isn't low enough to bring. But I thought it through and I was lying. I was trying to seem
much time
cool
did you
in front of
spend
a
in
friend,
your-
Dan. A lot. I've thought about this so much. Brink's back at number 1. I'm not saying there's never going to be a time where Brink moves down. I'm just saying I don't know who that guy was last week that thought that Halloween Town was better than Brink. That guy sucks. I hate that guy.
I love that guy.
We're back next week for another Decom Descendants. We're going to be going to the 13th year.
Yes.
Dan, what do you think that movie's about?
I think it's about someone turning 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what happens?
And they're stuck in some sort of time loop.
No. We will find out, though.
Great.
We'll swim our way there next week.
Swim.
Until then,
Decom
Descendants.
Decom Descendants is a Bramble Jam podcast. It's produced by Brandon Gray. For more information on Decom Descendants, you can go to decompodcast.com. For more information to watch the gang, watch the movie live, you can go to bramblejamplus.com, and you can find us on the socials at Decom Descendants.
You're about to hear some ads that help keep the lights on here in the old studio. thanks for listening or don't listen. It's really up to you at this point. It's at the end of the show. I mean, you're listening to me. Hi. But here they come. I promise they're coming. Yep, here they are. Happy day.